we have to paint a picture because it sounds like we're dismissing and basically like belittling the real verbal abuse. I agree if you just call me a bitch, I should not just slap the hell out of you. I agree. But let's paint the picture because that's not how women verbally abuse men. It's not one word. It's not just, hey, I'm just saying it from across the room. I'm following you. I'm not only am I following you, I'm packing my bags and she's in my ear walking out. You ain't gonna be shit. You this, you that, and I'm walking, and as I'm walking and I'm doing what I'm doing, then at some point it's a snap point. Now I do agree. If you say one or two things, there should never be a reaction to some extent, depending on what you say. Because I can't tell if somebody's mother died and you say, hey, that's why your mother's dead and she was a bitch, and he slaps the hell out of you. But you don't talk about somebody's dead mother.
And now you have a battery charge.
But I'm not saying. But guess what? The law is not always made right, and some things need to change. Maybe this could be a spark for something to happen. Right here is saying that 48.4% of women have experienced at least one form of psychological aggression by an intimate partner during their lifetime, right? Then 48.8% of men have experienced one of these same forms of abuse. So what is that saying? Men are technically experiencing more psychological abuse than women. This is not a stat Rico made. This is by the census, right? Correct. Perfect. So this is not me making this stat. So now you have more men dealing with psychological abuse than women, but men cannot act upon being psychologically triggered, which is crazy to me. And I
What should be the response? I guess that's actually what I want.
I think it does depend. It does depend on the severity.
But what should be the response?
I was trying to implement that and y'all was laughing.
The response should be.
No, I'm saying, what is the man's response?
Oh, the response, like if
The man's response, if the man can say, hey, listen, I mean, this is not really a thing, but hey, if anybody, man or woman, if you're dealing with psychological abuse in totality, if I can say, hey, look, I could call the cops because you hit me, I should be able to call the cops and be like, hey, look, she's actually.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
You're
I'm
saying
asking.
response. The response should be,
you mean what? If you call me a bitch?
Thank you.
And
what should my response be?
My response should be,
like, what's reasonable?
I'm trying to explain that. I'm trying to explain that. The response should be,
When?
I had the
she talking crazy to me.
Right there.
And there we go. And that's my thing.
Oh,
but look,
hold up. But look, you saw that, right?
Yeah. But then when it
Ladies and
turns
gentlemen,
into something
that's Erin the
else,
Renegade. She don't give a fuck about men's
Throw me
mental
into jail.
and psychological well-being. She says, I don't give a fuck. I am hurt. I'm triggered. Thank you, Erin. Thank you for perpetuating the same
I don't
wheel.
think that
Perpetuating the same thing.
I don't think
You
anybody
just
should
asked
abuse.
Rico just said, what should be the response? And you just said, I don't give a fuck.
No.
To-
He's saying call the cops. Call and whine to the cops. No. Oh my God, she said I'm broke. No. Fucking leave. Why are you still dealing with this woman who abuses you?
That's not really
tell me
abuse.
that.
But
Like,
say
why-
it.
why-
You gonna go there?
Absolutely. Because I'll say the same thing for a woman.
Well, I'm just saying,
Okay,
because
I'm glad you
Say the
said that.
exact same thing.
Oh, I'm glad you said that.
So the thing is that
It's more typical.
Listen,
to say
if-
for a woman,
if
though.
you're sitting,
Whoa, you heard that?
just listen. If you're sitting around getting verbally abused every single day by someone who's not your parent, because when it's your parents, it's different because
Yeah.
you have to live with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
At
They
a certain
provide-
till a certain age.
Yeah, but for the most part,
Right.
go ahead.
Yeah.
for
So
the most
generally
part.
speaking, you
Yeah.
have to be with your parents.
Yeah.
But you are choosing to be with somebody that talks shit to you. You're choosing to be with somebody that doesn't think highly of you and degrade you every single day. So why do you want to remain in that
I
situation?
can respond to that real quick.
Psychologically, first of all,
You're stuck.
Time out. First of all,
Why are you stuck?
let me explain this to you, Erin. Not all psychological verbal abuse is just belittling. It is actually trapping. Some people, I know lots of women that have came to the forefront and say, well, I was in this relationship so long because he convinced me that no one else would love me. He convinced me that I was the only option that he was the only option that I had. So when you talk about psychological, and this is the craziest thing, right? Because I don't want to get too far off the deep end, but psychological abuse realistically is just a manipulative game, right? So when you can manipulate somebody and then keep them in that same space, it becomes That's why they have different crimes, right, and different consequences. If I've been manipulating you for 25 years and or abusing you for 25 years, whatever, and you kill me, there is a crime called the out of the act or murder by the act of passion, manslaughter, all these different things.
No, it's not.
Aaron, to answer your question though, why the person just won't leave?
Not.
So
You can Google it right now.
wait, real quick.
So committing murder out of the act of passion does not get seen differently than committing murder, is what you're telling me. Mislegality.
First of all, that's not an act of passion because someone verbally abuses you for 20 years and you kill them. That's not an act.
Passion be more like intimate. It got to be more intimate.
Are we serious right now? I could actually show you documentaries. I don't need Google. I already proved it once today. Listen, what I will say is we can. What I will say is when you've been traumatizing somebody and psychologically damaging somebody, at the end of the day, depending on the severity of it, you do face some consequence. But the problem is we have women and men who get away with it, and then they think if you just call and say, hey, I need help, you're whining. You're a baby. You need to just get up and go. But like Oliver said, some people are actually stuck. Me, I'm a real one. It would never happen to me.
I get that, but
not everybody's that strong.
Say never when
It's
it
never
happens.
happened. There's never been a box in this world
it's
that's
a
that
human-
important to me.
Never.
And I'm gonna
For
make it a
me to be
human. It's a human thing, real quick. Like, you know, to get up and why don't you just leave? It's a human thing. We're not gonna put this on gender. It is, like you said, this abuse. This has been compacted for years. So yeah, theoretically, we could say get up and leave or walk away. But when you in the trenches and this is somebody you love or whatever, it's not that easy. So what I'm saying is,
understand that
the
it's not
onus is if that woman know that bitch word for 30 years is a trigger, there has to be something that happens to you because something will happen to that man that hit you. We know that. We've seen it. But what we're trying to say is that, now that we're rewriting these laws, whether it be legal laws or societal laws or Instagram laws, social media laws, we have to say, you know what? Something has to happen to this woman or that man who's been verbally. Because also, I also know that women, they're very strategic because you know that you will not go to jail for verbally abusing a man. So I've heard someone say, what you gonna do? Hit me? Hit me. Watch what happens to you.
Yo.
Wow. That's another level. And what is that man to do? Now, yes, that man should walk away. But the fact that you can verbally poke the bear, you broke, you whack, your sex is whack. Yes, he should leave, but he loves you. You know that. He's trying.
How do you love someone who
That's a different question.
Yeah. That's a different conversation.
I guess I'm just trying to understand because for me,
I just told you they're stuck.
I mean, regardless of the case, all I'm gonna say is this, and I believe this wholeheartedly, right? Women are never to face consequences the same as men. And I even bring I'll bring it up.
Not everything in this
Stop,
topic.
Oliver. I didn't cut you off. I'll bring it up in totality. We got Brittany Griner, who was just pardoned by the Russian government and for a swap. But however, there's been somebody who's been a male who's been in the Marines held captive for 4 years, and we chose a WNBA woman basketball player over somebody who was serving this country. And I say this as a father. Guess what? If my daughter does something, remotely bad versus my son that does something remotely bad, I'm going to hold him more accountable on the consequences than I'm going to hold her. We protect women. Everybody protects women. The law protects women. Men protect women to the best of their ability. And then what ends up happening is women get the scapegoat that I can say whatever I want to you, no matter if it's traumatizing or not, and nothing happens. Nothing happens. But if I act out because of your actions, I'm the only one wrong.
I said that.
I have a question. So how would
I'm the only one wrong.
Express their
You should not express your shit in any abusive way.
Why are you
because
yelling?
it's crazy to me that you think that it's
I literally am just
alright.
talking in regular tone.
What I'm saying is this.
I understand
Okay.
why you're yelling.
All I'm gonna say is no woman should be able to express herself in an abusive way. No man should be able. No form of abuse should be accepted by gender.
And so how do we police that?
There has to be a consequence, whether it be a fine,
I think
whether it be
Why not
community
just be
service.
No, we didn't say that.
What?
I mean, you want me to say the generic answer? Therapy, recognizing that
That's not a consequence, though. You can't regulate it.
Well, because she said, how do we regulate it or how do we get in front of it, right? That's what you was asking. So if Shit. Well, if you're doing it, you don't realize it.
Maybe-
when you do realize
Actually,
it.
there you go.
When you do.
Actually, Oliver, you're right. That's one. You get a fine. Like if I get my first drink while driving, you usually get a breathalyzer. You have to do AA meetings, and you get a fine, right?
And so, how do you prove that something was said?
Well, that'd be a whole.
How do you prove that it's a trigger?
Well, maybe.
No, I'm just saying, because this is the thing. You have to have a burden of proof.
Well, hey,
So if we have some sort of arbiter of justice, right?
we need
So
video.
who does this?
We need video.
Okay, so
Yep.
or do people have video?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not
I
gonna
got cameras in my
tell you
house.
But you know
There's
what?
cameras.
It just-
There's 4 in
it
my
also
house.
doesn't make sense because laws like that have to apply to everyone. We know what we can't have someone punished because something triggered you specifically.
Thank you.
Like
Thank
you and Aaron
you.
are gonna have different triggers. So
You call me a bitch, I'm gonna sit here.
But Aaron, y'all proving my
But
point.
we're just saying the
Women
bitch
can
word as an
deal with that
example.
Because they know what you do hit me. Because they know it ain't gonna hold up in court.
No, possibly they know that you don't know how to control your emotions.
Yes.
So you don't know how to keep yourself in check.
Agreed.
So you don't know how to keep your motherfucking hands to yourself.
so what
That
you
is
gonna-
the problem.
No, the
agree.
problem
No, no,
is
but-
you.
no, but wait, I got
You're
you.
the cause.
No,
That's the
no,
effect.
hold up, wait,
You're the
wait.
cause.
The,
Rico,
ca-
real
the,
quick.
the
No,
cause
no.
is probably because your daddy beat you.
No,
No, okay.
The cause is because you don't know how to regulate your mouth.
No.
If you learn how to regulate your mouth,
Aaron,
nobody
you
would
just
do
proving my
anything.
point. You have a litany of things, right? You know that Oliver can't control his temper. You know that Oliver's this and that. So what you gonna do? You whack. You keep going. You keep going, right? You wanna keep going because you know that at any moment I can't control myself. And what happens to me? Jill, what happens to you? Be honest. What happens to the woman?
Nothing.
What happens to the woman?
Nothing.